David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. I'm quitting alcohol. I just got back from watching The Joker. And that is the most accurate depiction of an open mic comedian I've ever seen in my entire life. Instead of The Joker, they should have just called that open mic life. The Joker is literally 98% of open micers I've ever seen in my entire life. Just completely delusional psychopaths. Yeah, you've got to have some sympathy for the Joker, but still, he's a hard guy to like. Even if you do have sympathy, you're not going to have an easy conversation with the Joker, are you? Arthur Fleck, or whatever the fuck his name was. The Joker inside the mind of open mic comedy. That's what it's like. Seriously. People with mental illness filling out notebooks full of shit that's not funny. There were some great lines in that fucking movie too, but my favourite line of the whole thing was the Joker was speaking to his mum and he was telling her how he's going to be a famous stand-up comedian. And she says to him, "Don't you have to be funny to be a comedian?" And that is the biggest misconception the general public has about comedians. You do not have to be funny to be a comedian. Being funny isn't even in the top 10 things you need to be a comedian these days. Funny isn't even on the radar. Comedians know this. That's why they don't even bother writing jokes. You get your social medias sorted out. You get some heat. You get some publicity. Funny is an afterthought. Just go to 99.99999% of comedy shows and you'll understand funny is not a prerequisite for comedy. And the other great line that stands out for me was when the Joker was in the hospital with his mum and he says, "I always thought my life was a tragedy, but it's a fucking comedy." I think that's how he said it anyway. I'm just boiling it up, but you get the gist of the fucking thing. And so I'm like, yeah, that's funny because life is a little bit of a tragedy and tragedy equals comedy. That's what it is. That's what it's like. You can deal with your suffering. And I was thinking about that line on the drive back home after the movie. And I was like, yeah, if you look at your life, you probably think it is a bit of a tragedy, but it is a comedy. And I was like, yeah, it's a cool thing. And as we pull up to our house, I see my car parked outside of the driveway, and the whole driver's side of my car has been sideswiped and fucking totaled. My front wheel's on a right angle and it's just been fucking smashed. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. I always thought my life was a tragedy, but it's actually a comedy. Ha 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 ha. My car is fucked. If you want to see a picture of my totaled car that I came back to after the Joker, go to my Instagram @BoyleComedy and you'll see a good picture of my fucking totaled car. And the even funnier part of that ending to the Joker was the street is just lined full of cars, both sides. This car, it ended up being a stolen car, managed to hit my car and another car. The two biggest pieces of uninsured shit on the street. Every single other car on the street is a nice, insured, beautiful car. But they hit the two biggest bombs on the fucking street. Always thought my life was a tragedy, but it's actually a fucking comedy. So now I don't have a work car and I've got to find some fucking money. I only had third-party insurance, so I only had the insurance that if I crash into some cunt, that the insurance company covers it. I don't have insurance for fucking teenagers in a stolen car hitting my car while I'm at the fucking Joker. That's not the insurance I was thinking of. The other thing is, that car has been a fucking warhorse for me. The Silver Mosquito's been through a lot of things. It's 30,000 kilometers over service. I've run the oil bone dry on that engine, I would say at least 10 times. I've sideswiped a street sign because I was impatient at the cunt in front of me, and I've reversed into a pole in that fucking car, and she was still going. Nothing could kill her. And then I come back after the fucking Joker, and she's gone. She has been through her last drive-through McDonald's, that one. Ah, fuck. Now I got to organise all that shit tomorrow. But possibly, if I get a new car with the no money I have, I will be able to finally pursue my career as an Uber driver. So there's a silver lining to every tragedy. I always thought my life was a tragedy, but it's a fucking comedy. And I'll speak to you later.